Okay. Erev Tov Shalom Aleichem. We are coming from two very major days of the year, the day of Yud Shvat, the day of the passing of the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak Schneerson, and Yud Aleph Shvat, the day that the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach received upon himself the Nesius, the leadership of the Chabad Lubavitch movement and of the entire and the entire Jewish nation as the Moshe Rabbeinu of the Jewish nation, together with the entire world. We uh, we come to our shiur tonight, and in light of the request that there should be something that is connected with the ongoing situation in Israel and the security situation, we have a story for all those that put in their requests. the famous defense system against missiles, the Iron Dome, Kippat Barzel, is something that became famous not only in Israel but actually all over the world. And people from nations from all over the world are coming, and they're interested. They've already purchased this defense system, but it's few that actually know about the teams, the people that are behind the defense system, those that actually went and developed it and made it made it into what it is today. And it's famous even in the missile attacks. Hashem should watch over us and preserve us. The missile attacks from Iran. So it was the defense system that intercepted the missiles from coming in from Iran was up to something like 96%, 99%, they claimed. But our story tonight comes with the actual human beings behind the defense system, and the defense system which is behind the defense system, even behind the human beings that developed it. One of the managers of the teams in the developing of the Iron Dome, her name is Etty. We don't have all the other details. I guess it's a security matter. But nevertheless, she told the following story. She was on her way back to her home city in Modi'in, and all of a sudden she received a call from her sister. She thought, well, it was a traffic jam anyway, so she's just gonna be able to have a nice pass the time with a nice conversation from her sister up north from Tzfat, and unfortunately, she found out that it wasn't one of the most fantastic conversations that she could have had. Her sister told her that unfortunately the father of the family, father of the siblings, had an occurrence with his heart, and he's in Ziv hospital, and that she should immediately come up in order to come to visit. And so she turned around. She made a U-turn from going to the Merkaz, and she started to make her way to the north to Tzfas. When she arrived in Tzfas, she saw something that she never saw in her life. She saw her father in a coma. And he was fighting. They were fighting for his life in order to go into to try to stabilize him. And in the state that he was, it was very difficult to be able to go to be able to see the father of the family in this kind of situation. Nevertheless, the doctors told the members of the family to keep on speaking with the father, even despite the fact that he's in a coma, and to keep on encouraging him, giving him words of encouragement, because in these kind of situations, from their experience, you could never know you could never know what would be the word or the sentence or that would trigger these the individual, in this case their father, to come out of his coma and to wake up. And they, as they were sitting there, there were nurses and doctors coming in and out with constantly checking on the situation. And despite the fact that the situation of the life situation stabilized, the fact of the matter is that the father was still in a coma. Etty, she gave everything that she could. She had one day a week of vacation, chofesh. She gave that day to come up to Tzfas in order to go into sit with her father. But despite everything that she was doing, or she tried to do, nothing was happening. So the next day she went back to work. And as she comes into the security factory, so she sees that there's a big tumult. People are all talking and saying, "Wow, that was incredible." What's incredible happened? That one of the individuals in these teams was able to go and to crack the difficulty and find a solution to what they were really they were looking at with a very non-positive notion of they're stuck. What were they stuck with? They were stuck with the fact that they wanted the interception of the Iron Dome defense system was still low. It was then maybe 75% of the needed 100% in order to go and to make sure that the accuracy would intercept the missiles that were chas v'sholom shot into the area, into Eretz Yisrael. And this individual, whose name is Moshe Binyamin, I guess he's a Chabadnik. No, I don't guess. I know. He's a Lubavitcher Chassid, and he works in the company of the development. He was able to go and to find the solution to raise the accuracy of the defense system from 75% to 96%, and it was already tested, and they found that it worked. And everyone was patting on the back and giving him congratulations. And he as his nature is very modest, and he said, "Listen, guys, you don't owe me the thanks. You owe the Lubavitcher Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach the thanks to the solution that we've able to accomplish." And they said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "What?" So he said, "Yes." He said that yesterday he went home, and it was very difficult for him to fall asleep. He went and he went to his bookshelf, and he wrote a letter. He wrote a letter to the Rebbe, and in the letter he wrote in detail all the situation of how, as much work as they're putting in and as little sleep as they're getting, all the teams that are working on the development, they can't seem to find the solution to the accuracy of the defense system. And he asked the Rebbe for a bracha, and he opened up the Igros Kodesh, and in the Igros Kodesh he received a letter from the Rebbe, and he explains. He didn't go into detail over here, but he explains that from the letter and the contents of the words that the Rebbe explains in the Igros Kodesh, he understood what was going wrong, and from this he was able to accomplish the development and to find the solution, and that's what he brought. Everyone was just shocked to hear What? The Lubavitcher Rebbe, he was the one that found the solution. Yeah, and this is the person that's testifying to the fact. In the meanwhile, our Eti, the manager of one of these teams, heard the entire story, and she got even more excited. She said to herself, "Listen, if the Lubavitcher Rebbe can find the solution to the accuracy of the defense, the interception of the missiles." So he definitely is the one to turn to instead of turning to all the doctors that say they don't know what to do and they're raising their hands and they just said, try, we're trying our best. She'll go and she'll turn to the Lubavitcher Rebbe, to the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach, in order to go and to find the solution to her father's situation as he was still in his coma. She goes to Rabbi Binyamin and she says, "Listen, you have to sit down right now. At this moment, we have to sit down to write the Rebbe." And Rabbi Binyamin says, "Listen, I would be happy to sit down to write the Rebbe with you, but now is not the time. I have to go back to my work, and I'll be able to sit with you at the end of the day." She says, "With no way. This is a matter of life and death, and you have to sit down with me now." And she didn't leave go, and being one of the management, so she knew how to pull her weight. And he finally gave in, and they sat down, and Etty wrote a letter to the Rebbe. She before she wrote the letter, she made all the appropriate preparations, washing her hands, netilas yadayim, giving tzedakah, giving charity, making a good resolution before writing to the Rebbe for a blessing. And then she wrote the Rebbe. After she wrote the Rebbe, she put it into the Igros Kodesh, which was handy because Rabbi Yomin Moshe had with him in his bag all the time. He had a volume of Igros Kodesh. This particular volume was volume 7, Chelik Kerech Zayin. And after she put the letter in, Eti said 3 times the Achrozos HaKodesh, the holy proclamation of Yechi, Yechi Adonenu, Marina V'Rabbeinu Melech Ha'Moshiach Le'olam Voed. And she opened slowly, with a shaking hand, she opened up the Igros Kodesh. What she saw inside was unbelievable to her eyes. The Rebbe wrote here, and I'll just quote from the Igros Kodesh. The Rebbe wrote something incredible about the concept of prayer, of tefillah. And the Rebbe says, "Hine yadua, behold, it is known, the tefillah, that prayer, he aveda shebalev, is the service of the heart." That's what Chazal, our rabbis of blessed memory, call the concept of prayer, of tefillah, the service of the heart. And in this letter that the Rebbe wrote, the Rebbe puts in bold the words Shebalev, in the heart. Now, the Rebbe goes into detail in regard to the concept of prayer and how to pray and what to pray, the depth of prayer. But as far as Eti was concerned, she was all excited. And Binyamin Moshe asks her, "Wait a second, what do you see over here?" And she says, "You have to understand, her father was a person. He is a person that he wouldn't start his day literally without entering the shul and praying the morning service, putting on tefillin and davening. There was no way that he would start his day otherwise." And then she even remembered in her childhood how her father would take them to shul, and then she remembered the inside of the shul and how it looked, and so on. Here in Sfas. So so she said, "Wow, this is incredible. This is fantastic. But what do I do with this?" She didn't know. I mean, her father's in a coma. How can he daven now? So Rabbi Yamin took her aside and he explained to her, listen, despite the fact that her father couldn't daven, couldn't pray right now, fact of the matter is that you and your siblings, all their brothers and sisters, you can come and make a good resolution that the moment your father comes out of coma, that you will tend to it, each and every one of you will tend to it, to bring your father to shul to daven every day. She said that her father stopped davening a few months back because his feet became weak, and it was very difficult for him to climb the steep hills here in Tzfat in order to get to the shul and so on. And that's why he stopped going to shul. So Rabbi Yamin Meisha told her, listen, make a good resolution that every day one of the siblings will make sure to bring him to shul, and that he will be able to daven. And with Hashem's help, we'll hear good news. She she got into her car and she drove immediately to Tzfat, and she went to visit her father in the hospital. When she came to her father's bedside, so she started to repeat the words of the good resolution to her father in his ear. And she said, Father, with Hashem's help, you'll wake up out of your coma, and we will make sure that every day someone will escort you to the synagogue, to the shul, in order for you to be able to start your day with prayer, with tefillah. And she said the words of the Rebbe, which is Aveda Shebalev, which is the service of the heart. And as we remember at the beginning of the story, this is exactly what he incurred. He incurred the heart situation that he was suffering from at this moment. She said it once, and she said this twice, and changing the words here and there, and she repeated it a third time. And to everyone's unbelievable shock and surprise, her father opened his eyes. For the first time within a month, her father opened his eyes. And the doctors, the nurses were running around, and they didn't understand what was going on and how this happened. But, they called it a medical miracle. And needless to say, Baruch Hashem, her father got over his situation, and he was allowed to go home. And of course, every day, Baruch Hashem, since then, he's been going to shul with one of the members of the family in order to daven in the morning. So when we're talking about defense systems and what's behind the defense systems, even the people that developed the defense systems, even the Chabad Hasidim that developed the defense systems, we're talking about the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach, who stands behind all of this. There was something very beautiful, and with this we'll end our story time. In honor of Yud Aleph Shvat, so there was a doctor called David. His name is David Weiss. Maybe someone knows or knew him, or so he was in Yechidus. He was in Yechidus by the Rebbe, in a personal audience by the Rebbe, and he asked the Rebbe a very simple question. He asked the Rebbe, what would you call, who do you call a person that is your chassid? In other words, what makes up the fact that this person is a chassid of yours, a follower of yours? And the Rebbe was quiet, and then the Rebbe said like this. He said, if at the end of the day, a person makes a cheshbon, a person makes a calculation of his day, and he sees that he advanced, even in one small step, he advanced and progressed in ethical matters, in moral matters, in Jewish matters, then even if it's just one small step, I I acknowledge that person to be called a chassid of mine. So this is the case. This is the situation. We go and we make a cheshbon nefesh every day. How much did we progress? How much did we do? What were we able to go and to add in regard to our previous day? But even if it's just one step in any of these faculties that we mentioned, this is a person that the Rebbe acknowledges as his chassid. How much more so when we sit down and get together and have a weekly class, a weekly shir in Dvar Malchus, and tell the incredible stories of the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach, the miracles of our generation and our days. The Rebbe says is literally the source in order to go and to bring about and to bring about speedily the great miracle, which is the miracle of the Geula Hashlema Vamitis, the true and the complete redemption, with the revelation of the Rebbe Shlita Melech HaMoshiach, and it should be Teichef Umiyad, Mamish, 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 immediately now. Yechi Adonenu, Moreno v'Rabbeinu, HaMelech HaMoshiach le'ilam voed, and we want to wish everyone a Chag Sameach for the in honor of the Rosh Hashanah le'ilanot at the end of this week on Thursday, Wednesday night. Everyone remember to obtain fruits. Usually, it's most appropriate to take to have fruits of the that of Eretz Yisrael. Eretz, the grapes, pomegranates, figs, dates, olives, and also it's accustomed to on the day of Rosh Hashanah Le'ilanot, to Chamisha Asar B'Shvat, to try to find a fruit that we can make a shehechiyanu on. Yeah, by the Rebbe, when the Rebbe brings for Chamisha Asar B'Shvat, for the Rosh Hashanah of the trees, the Rebbe usually makes a bracha and eats a few grapes. That's what was seen when we had the opportunity to see. And Teichef from Yad Mamish will be able to have this opportunity again in the third and the eternal Beis Hamikdash on a good and revealed basis. Teichef from Yad Mamish, Mamish, Mamish. Chag Sameach, Moshiach now.